If you're like me, sometimes you're craving Chinese takeout, but don't want to sabotage your diet. Today on Healthy Meals, Good, Fast, and Cheap, I'm going to cook up my version of spicy Kung Pao chicken that you can enjoy all week long. The recipe's in the description, but we'll start with 3 pounds of chicken thighs that I've cubed up. I prefer this to breast because the extra few grams of fat make it taste so much better. I've also cut up 3 large, beautiful bell peppers, and we're going to need 2 tablespoons of peanuts. Everything else we're going to put into the sauce, starting with 3 cloves of chopped garlic, a tablespoon of rice vinegar, a tablespoon of fresh ginger, a teaspoon of sesame oil toasted, half teaspoon of cracked black pepper, 2 tablespoons of white cooking wine, 3 tablespoons of low sodium soy sauce, 1 tablespoon of Szechuan chili paste. You could also use sriracha here, but I like this because it has the Szechuan peppercorns in it. And then finally, a cup of chopped green onions or scallions. Now we're going to go ahead and just mix this up. We're going to need to marinate our chicken by pouring about 1/3 of the sauce over the raw chicken. We'll keep the rest of the sauce for later in the recipe, and you can just eyeball it here. You don't need to be precise. And we'll go ahead and mix the sauce into our chicken and let the chicken marinate for at least 20 minutes. Now for the heat. Get a large pan or wok nice and hot. I'm using a spritz of avocado oil here because it has a higher smoke point, but you can use any kind of vegetable oil. Just stay away from things like olive oil or more delicate oils because they'll burn. We're going to add our chicken, and your goal is to get this into a single layer. If you have too much and it's piling up, you'll need to cook it in batches, otherwise it's just going to steam, won't get brown, which is where a lot of the flavor comes from. This amount of chicken is probably just right at the edge of what you could do in one batch. Once the chicken's been cooking for a few minutes, if you pay attention, you'll be able to smell and hear when it's starting to brown. You can pick up a piece and check like this, and when it looks like that, give everything a toss and let it sit again to brown more. After a few minutes, you'll end up with fully cooked, nicely browned chicken. When there's no pink anywhere and all that chicken's been nicely coated in the sauce, go ahead and give it one good last mix. And then what we're going to do is we're going to separate this chicken and put it into a clean bowl to use for later. So go ahead and pour that chicken off, and then we're going to put that pan right back on the heat. Back to our hot pan, we'll throw in our beautiful bell peppers, give them a toss to cover them in the leftover oil from the chicken. And when they start to sizzle and crisp up after a minute or two, then we can go ahead and add the rest of the sauce that we set aside before. And you gotta be careful, this part goes pretty quick. If you wait too long, you're gonna end up with soggy peppers, and I like them to have a nice crunch. So toss it all together, add our peanuts, give it a good stir, and once you've got everything coated and the sauce starts to bubble, it's just about time to take it out. So just like we did for our chicken, we're going to take the peppers and the peanuts and pour them off into a separate clean bowl. Now you've got a bowl of chicken and a bowl of peppers, and it's time to divide this up. The reason I keep the chicken separate is to make sure each container gets the right amount of protein. I'm using cauliflower rice here to be low carb, but you could easily use regular rice and add some carbs to fit your macros. I also like to use this kitchen scale so I can be more precise about my macros, but again, you could just divide this up equally if you want. So now go ahead and add however many grams of protein you need from the chicken and add your peppers. The great thing about this method is that whether you need 25 grams of protein or 75 grams of protein, it's very easy for you to control. And now we'll go ahead and just repeat this for the other containers, putting our chicken in, putting our peppers in, and that's it. I'm showing you 4 containers here, but this recipe actually made 6 meals and only took about 20 minutes to cook. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and leave a comment on what healthy meals, good, fast, and cheap, you want me to cook next. Thanks so much for watching.